everyone. Welcome to Across the Bifrost, the Mighty Thor podcast, where on each and every episode, we explore the world of Marvel's Mighty Thor. On today's episode, we are reviewing the second issue of Mortal Thor. Under Al Ewing's tutelage, we are continuing this adventure where we don't have an immortal Thor anymore, everybody. Get that out of your mind. Get immortality out of your mind. We're very mortal now. And so are your hosts today. I am the mortal Ryan. We have the mortal Will and the mortal Eric. The mortal Faz will be joining us via audio message later.
But guys, Faz will be back later, y'all, from Asgard. He would beaming in from Asgard from afar.
But man, Mortal Thor 2 kicked ass, guys. It was crazy. A very, very unique Thor comic. I think we can all at least admit to that. Not our standard Thor comic.
Right. Like I love comics, but like it is, again, it's issue 2, but what's the legacy number? 788. And the reason I bring that up is not because I do it every time, but also it's tradition, but also that like this felt like in continuity with the rest of comics for going on 800 issues, that it's not just a reboot or a whole different thing. There's a lot of story and lore within, and it feels like it's a part of the whole collective Thor story over almost 800 issues. So it's a part of the whole big picture, and it was good. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. I loved it. Yep.
Eric, what were your just like first impressions of the second issue of this new series?
It feels just like what Will said. In a lot of ways, it feels like the continuation of decades worth of comics, and in some ways, it feels like a brand new origin story. And it's a little bit the best of both.
I agree wholeheartedly with those points. So here's what we're going to do tonight, everybody. We're going to do our synopsis. Then Will's going to share his thoughts. Will's got to bounce, so we're going to respect his time, let him go first, get first crack at this book. And then Eric and I are going to stick
crack
around.
To the face. Like a crack to the face.
Bungee cord style.
Bungee cord cracks.
So, and then Eric and I are just going to bat the ball around a little bit. The bungee cord hammer, actually. We're just gonna toss that around. We're gonna just break down this really, really fun Thor comic. So this issue is brought to us by Al Ewing, Pascal Ferry, and we have just like our standard fare here. We have Will Moss, we have Joe Sabino, we have an Alex Ross cover, and loving. I believe Matt Hollingsworth is still on our colors for this issue as well. We're starting off right where we left off. The last issue, we see Kristen in her apartment, and she's drawing a somewhat familiar guy's face on her little pad there, and then Sigurd comes to the door with Lucky. Lucky drops him off, and Sigurd is beaten and bloodied from his alley fight with the Roxxon enforcers at the end of last issue. We get a little bit of, I think, flirtation from Chris. Like Chris is DTF with this Sigurd guy. And she's not exactly being subtle about it. But we get some fun interactions with them there. He's kind of just explaining what he can from his memory of the situation. Kristen said, the situation is going to go badly for you. And he's like, guess what? It went worse than bad. I got stabbed. I got punched, all that stuff. But then we really quickly transitioned to Sigurd chasing down these security enforcers that say they're doing this work for the glory of Thor. They actually know like the true meaning of what Thor would want from them. And they are off upstate in this roadhouse, like roadside bar. And they are interrogating the one guy that got away and saying, dude, you failed. Like, we're going to have to kill you. And then Sigurd shows up and proceeds to go like Frank Castle on these guys. He has his not Mjolnir, but kind of the smaller. It's like a 15-20 pound sledgehammer, like one of the little handheld sledgehammers, and he has tied a bungee cord to the handle, making kind of a very cool allusion to the hammer being called back to Thor's hand. At one point, we see him swirling it with the bungee cord, and it looks like how Thor would swing the mallet around with the leather strap on it. He beats up all of these guys, and he just leaves nobody standing. Fairly certain he killed a few guys because this time, Eric, we had some doubt last time. I don't think we had doubt with a few of these guys. They go out quite gruesomely, and then at the end we see Sigurd leaving, and we cut away in our epilogue to the Roxxon executive from the first issue calling another person for help, and we learn of this character Blake, the head of the Serpent, who is going to, we believe, be instrumental in the next issue, because we see their henchmen in the last page, and those henchmen are also on the Alex Ross cover for the third issue. So a big fight probably coming for our guy Sigurd, but thankfully he's got a bungee cord hammer now, and that can solve all the problems. Will, if there was anything I missed out or anything you just want to pick on, this is your time to shine, man.
Yeah, I'm just curious, real fast. I know, like the last issue, we talked about the art, and I kind of like the art. How do you feel like is the art growing on you guys? You're liking it. It was a different shift from last time.
Yeah,
it took you a little while to get used to it, or you confess it may take some time to get used to it. How did this one feel? I thought the action and the hammer throwing was pretty kinetic and energetic. How are you feeling about the art?
I'm way more on board with the art. I think I was one of the ones where I was like, oh, it's a little too sort of like sketchy style for me. It's a little too, I like hard lines. I like really bold. And it's immediately growing on me now. It feels right at home here. Like the lighting is also really cool when they're at the like roadhouse with the candle lights or like the dim lighting. I think the atmospheric stuff is coming across really well, even though the line work is a little bit more ethereal sometimes, a little lighter.
Perfect. Sorry, that's a perfect way of saying everything I was trying to say last episode. No, I wholeheartedly agree with Eric. Like it is growing on me, because I think Eric and Eric, correct me if I'm wrong here, but we kind of like the same type of artists for the most part.
I think so.
It's like the harder lines, a little more vibrant color. And this is much more, like Eric said, ethereal. It's much more kind of wavy. And I really feel like, especially in the fight scene, it made total sense. Like when the blood is coming off of the guys and the hammer is connecting, it felt like it clicked. So yeah, I'm on board. I'm with it.
Nice. Yeah, I think and just a small correction, it's not Roadhouse. We don't want to get sued by that movie franchise. It's the Rough House.
It's the Roadside House.
It's
just so we're clear.
Rough House. He's going to the Rough House. It's the Rough House. And then there was one person. And then there's one person standing at the end who's he's the one who's going to tell the tale. Like there's one dude left standing, and Sigurd like turns over his shoulder almost like an Arnold, I'll be back, but no, do you want me to come back kind of thing? But I loved it. So the narration at the beginning is lucky, I guess, is what we're assuming. And
the green boxes,
there's green boxes. Narration is, again, there's a behind the scenes narrator, storyteller, maybe orchestrator for this story, because there's some predictions about a bungee cord and a drill, and look, things are coming together. Maybe this is the story, not the story. But I loved it. And what I really liked about this book, because it's the theme of what Jason Aaron has done and others before him, is ask what makes a god worthy or not. And you have this like rough gang who thinks they know what Thor is all about.
Right.
And it's not about, no, there's no cowards here. No cowards go to Valhalla. They're all wearing the patch or the symbol of the rune of, I guess, that's Thor. Am I right about that?
Yeah, it's the Thor rune.
The Thor rune. And so, and this whole like you don't know who Thor is. I'll show you who Thor is. And the one who says no to the exploitation of workers, the one who is the protector, the one who is the defender. And I'm gonna rough you guys up. So this kind of this almost religious cult like group who thinks they know Thor.
Yeah.
We see this in kind of our own day in politics in terms of things going on in the world. And so that, for me, reading this in the backdrop of what's going on in the news about who has claims to what when it comes to mythology, religion, or God, and here it still is working out that same theme of what makes a God worthy, and he's ready to show them. And I love that part. So the action was great. They didn't move the narrative whole too far along because we got some time with this. But in terms of what they did and the panels they had with him and his neighbor, budding romance, Lucky shows up, and then the end page reveal was pretty like, oh shit, here we go. Yeah, here we go. And we got this version's Donald Blake, who is the head of the Serpent, or the big snake, the eating the tree, whatever, however you want to put it. Like, here we go. Like it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
I think if you would have combined this issue and the previous issue into one book, I would have been like through the roof, just like happy about everything. Because I feel like this one was much more action and much more like cliffhanger. Like the cliffhanger was fantastic.
Yep, didn't see it coming. It was like, oh
yeah, it was great. Yeah. Will, do you have anything else you want to say about Mortal Thor before we bid you adieu?
No, I just want to give my quick hot take in that it was a really good comic. And, with the relaunches and reboots and bringing in new readers or continue your story or the second act, third act, or however they're grouping stuff in, I think the first issue was a great setup. The second one had the action, is moving it forward, and pretty excited to see what they're doing. And then the in-page reveal is like, yeah, I think the in-page reveal of the last issue, remind me, was basically like he's finished up the fight, right? Or
right, yeah, it was just like,
and what are the consequences of this fight? But now this one's like there's a bigger corporation in this particular world that's behind these things. And so if he's going to be a construction worker and he's fighting these snake henchmen or whatever on the scaffolding, I'm ready for it. I'm here.
Well, Will, I see the rainbow magic crackling around you.
Yep.
I feel the Bifrost humming as it returns you to your part of the Nine Realms. So, adios, man.
Adios, and with that, peace.
Okay, Eric. So, like, where do you want to go next with the issue we just kind of summarized?
Well, there's a few things, like Will was saying. This not only moves the plot along, but it's really starting to give us a lot more clues and hints along the way. It really is fleshing out this new sort of world that we're in, which more and more I'm convinced it's not an alternate reality. It is the same 616 continuity, but Scald Magic has rewritten history. And so we see more of this world, and we're seeing that Sigurd has this core memory of having surgeon skills. He sort of like retained some surgeon skills, which is also still a mystery to him because he doesn't actually know where any of that came from. One of the interesting nuggets I picked out of this was that we see a Hydra symbol on one of the jackets.
I was going to mention that, yes.
And that very clearly plants, if we didn't know already, this is not just some biker gang that likes Thor. These are Nazis. Like, these are white supremacists Thor fans who are affiliated with Hydra. So it's like we're sort of getting clues of, don't feel bad for these guys. They're about to get their asses kicked at their evil lair. Like, these are not people you should be sympathizing with. So
yeah, no, when I saw that, because I was like, okay, like these guys like worship Thor, but they've warped the message of Thor, and it's like, okay, people in the real world do that too, or however you're supposed to interpret a mythological character, but they take the message and they use it for a I'm gonna go out on a limb, Eric, and say a negative thing. Like, oh no, what a
Oh
controversial
no,
statement.
no, the controversy.
But like when you see the Hydra symbol in the back of the guy's jacket, I was like, okay, we're not mincing words with this.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me. Like I've been seeing previews and solicitations for like an upcoming absolute Batman special where it's like Batman will fight white nationalist racist people, and it's like, yeah, Thor did that in issue 2 and we didn't need a big announcement for it, so
Yeah.
interesting. But yeah, no, we're not mincing words. It will be interesting to see like how like, is there a version of Hydra that we actually get related to this group, or is it just like, yeah, that's kind of just our way of saying like these are bad guys, like you were like
a signal. Yeah, like
yeah.
a signal. I thought that Lucky in the role of the what is it, the omnipotent narrator or omniscient narrator?
Yeah,
God, we need like a literary nerd here to like explain this to me. There's the like omniscient third party.
There's limited third person narrator, and then I think it's omniscient third person narrator.
Yeah. Well, Loki's one of those, or Lucky, because they are saying, they intentionally chose this neighbor for Sigurd because they have a first aid kit, a drill, and a bungee cord, and that would make a really interesting story. And so, sure enough, it does make an interesting story. But the fact that they are basically making it sound like they created this living arrangement out of the need to have a compelling story means that, again, Lucky is in the position of serving the story, and it's all about what's going to make a better story, and that's what the Scald magic is going to be used for.
Which makes me kind of dig your thought of, this is the 616, but we are being told a story that is different from the 616 we know. And so this is a retelling, a reshaping, because notice like throughout the 616 books in Marvel, Thor is not anywhere. He's not on the Avengers right now. He's barely been in One World Under Doom. Correct me if I'm wrong there.
He's not in that book anymore. He was in it. He was in it for a little bit, and he actually said something kind of controversial because he was like, "Hey, now I'm a king. What's so wrong with having a king as a ruler?" And then he like peaced out. So it was like, wait a second.
Come on. Thor, you're better than that. But then like Thor was dropped into Storm's Thunder War, and the Thunder War storyline of that book just concluded. And I'm like, this book felt like it was meant to have Thor playing sidekick the whole time.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to me that Thor is, they swept him off the board.
Good. It makes it
tell the story.
It makes a bigger impact that way.
Absolutely, I agree.
You're supposed to miss him and be like, whatever happened to him? Like you wondering that means that you're actually a part of this story.
Yeah, I think it's well, and you and I are such, we've been known to be continuity snobs, just a little bit. But like, for things to actually change the wider 616. Moments like that, I feel like come along so infrequently now. But for Thor to be taken out of Avengers, for him to be, taken out of these crossover events and these other stories where he's popped in, it actually makes me love this story more, because this is where you have to go to get your Thor story right now. And somehow, like when the Scald magic is undone, or when we have a confrontation with Loki, whoever, I think it's going to mean more when Thor does show back up in other places. So I think that's a really cool thing that Al Ewing, Will Moss, the editors have just been like, no, Thor is not in these other books right now. Don't use him. You can't use him. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. Well, and there's something pretty incredible about Al Ewing setting up this whole idea of Scald magic that he was doing, honestly, back in like Loki, Agent of Asgard, I think, where it is all powerful reality warping magic, but you don't feel like it's out of place. It doesn't feel like a cheat code of like,
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like, oh, that's just made up. It feels like, oh, no, like that makes sense. If your whole vibe is like the power of stories, and these are all stories, and we're breaking the fourth wall and using storytelling elements to move the plot forward, it's just like strangely satisfying and fine for some reason, where normally I have like this BS detector goes off in me, and it like doesn't it doesn't let me just enjoy like anything that's too easy of a trick to get away with. I'm like, you can't just wave your hand and have me accept that, but like with this, it feels like it's no problem.
And you and I have had this conversation, like both in our group chat and one-on-one, that like you are not as big of a fan on alternative timelines or like the multiverse kind of like nonsense.
Yeah, like if this was, they went into a portal and came out in another dimension somewhere, I would be like, you're losing me, because
snooze, call
anymore.
Call me when he wakes up or he comes back. But I think this is doing a really cool thing where like we are still firmly in the 616. It's just that Thor, Sigurd, our main character, our protagonist, does not know what has happened around him. It's like he is in an illusion. And everything else around him has changed, and everyone's under this enchantment. I think it's a very cool. Like I'll be honest, I don't know if I was as sold early on. Obviously, like we're nerds, we overreact to the smallest little thing, and I've been not pointing anybody out, listener. I do this all the time, where I see one thing and I'm like, oh, that'll never work, and what the hell are they thinking? That's my nerd voice. I can't do that voice too. From The Simpsons. Well, actually, they are still in the Marvel 616 main continuity, but I love this because Al is doing something that it's so uniquely him, and it's his style. And this book, this issue, number 2, like really settled me into like, okay, I'm cool. Like I am 100% cool, and we're good to go now. Is there anything else like within the like the progression of the story in this book that you wanted to pick at and maybe pull on the thread a little bit?
I mean, the fight scene in the rough house is absolutely violent and bonkers. And it seems like, how have we not had a hammer on a bungee cord until now? It seems right at home. It just feels like this should have been done already. It kind of reminds me of Daredevil a little bit, with like the billy clubs that kind of retract and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's such an homage to the hammer returning power, and it's so quintessentially Thor, and yet DIY street level stuff that just makes it really, really fun. Like I hope he keeps the bungee cord hammer for a few issues, and that just becomes like the thing.
Right.
That totally works. Like you can do a lot with it.
When he showed up in the rough house and he's swinging it on the bungee cord, I was like, oh my gosh, these guys are gonna get so fucked. Because Sigurd has that. Thor is never, like, let's be honest, listener. Thor has never been the peaceful, the dove of the battlefield. He gets his hands dirty from time to time, but usually we're using Mjolnir in a way that we're familiar with using Mjolnir. Where he's throwing it and he's returning it to his hand. He's just like, kind of just batting guys around with it. But this was so different, and it was a refreshing kind of different. Like Eric said, it was an homage to the thing we already know. We already know how Mjolnir works. And this was like, okay, if I was going to go into my garage today and make my own Mjolnir with retracting action, like bungee cord makes as much sense as anything else would. I loved that little detail, and it made the fight, honestly though, Eric, it made the fight feel so different.
Did you think that? What do you think about Thor getting revenge and Thor confirmed killing a guy by bouncing his own bullet back into his head? Because we got clarification. The guy's in the alley. One of them's in the ICU.
Right.
None of them are dead. Now we see Thor kill someone, and then there's a kind of a little bit of a mechanism where it's like, okay, well, if the guy didn't shoot the bullet, then he wouldn't have got the bullet.
Yeah.
But like at the
Cause and
same time,
effect.
what did you think about Thor's revenge mission that he's on? I mean, he is seeking out this layer and bringing the fight to them.
He's on like a revenge tour.
Yeah.
Because we'll hit on this really quickly, that he's getting retribution for those workers, those powerless individuals against the powerful corporation of Roxxon. So there is this like underground street level hero, this Braveheart, I think of Russell Crowe's character in Gladiator, the guys who aren't supposed to win and aren't supposed to like speak up against the authority or whatever. He's doing that, and he's just doing it in a way where he's like, nope, I have no apologies this time. It is honestly, it's very Frank Castle.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Frank Castle. It also kind of reminded me of Batman, where it's like, I'm not going to kill anybody on purpose, but like if that idiot makes a choice, I'm not going to let him kill me. Like
it's very thorough. It's like he knows it's just going to keep happening unless he follows the thread back to the source and like roots out the evil that's there.
Yeah.
But it is it wasn't out of character for me, but it was definitely like, oh, are we doing this? Like all he needs is a quick stitch up on his forehead and he's out the door. Like,
yeah. So there was it was a refresh of that warrior mentality that we're so used to seeing from Thor. But we don't know if Sigurd can die yet. Like we know he can bleed. We know he needs first aid. Like. It's just it's weird because of like if our traditional Thor had somebody pointing a gun at him, he's like, okay, man, like I'm not gonna walk away from this injured, so maybe don't shoot me with a gun. And Sigurd's like, I don't know if I'm gonna walk away from this uninjured, so hammer throw. Like
that's actually a really good point because of the difference now. Thor in any other fight is really not in any real danger. Like
it has to be like the Hulk,
right,
for him to even get scratched.
And so when he has somebody that's really on his same level, then the gloves come off and he doesn't pull any punches. And so now when it's just human versus human, him fighting in self-defense, it's totally reasonable that might be lethal because he actually is in mortal danger. They are pulling a gun on him and he could die. So
Eric, we loved the fight scene. We love kind of like how this scald magic is twisting and altering things. What did you think about the ending?
I was just flipping to that last page reveal. So we've got clearly the Serpent Society henchmen. Blake is the head of the Serpent. We know he's the Serpent because not only did he basically absorb the power of Jormungand, the World Serpent, when he was in the sort of like suburban fantasy world in the Donny
Cates run. Yeah.
But he's also got this Serpent symbiote now. So he is like doubled up on the Serpent powers from various sources, and
so good.
I think it works to make him the snake, to make him the big baddie with the. I mean, I don't know if he has any powers. I don't know if he's just a crime boss or what.
I would imagine with the symbiote he has something. Or if
but does he still have that
Blade? Yeah,
here. Yeah, we're gonna find out. I hope. I mean, it's. I don't know if he's got to have something if he's going to be the big bad, but that's exactly what I was looking for in that first issue. And it's like, where's this going? Who's going to be the antagonist here? And I think Donald Blake is a perfectly serviceable antagonist because that's where they left off. Like that was the last conflict that they were having.
And I think this, what you just mentioned, if this had been the cliffhanger of the first issue, oh my gosh, I lost my mind. Like, be like, oh yeah, like we're beginning again, but we're also continuing the fight from the end of the Immortal run.
Yeah,
like we're continuing it in a different iteration, and Blake is still there. So, I love the first two issues, but I think I would have just been through the roof to the moon if we would have gotten this cliffhanger type reveal at the end of issue 1. But we're getting it at the end of issue 2. I loved it. And from that cover, I mean, we're gonna be fighting. Well, let's just say this. We assume the cover speaks to a moment that is going to be in the next issue, because the first two covers of the Mortal Thor run have been that way as well. I can't wait to see them fight up in the half-built skyscraper. It's going to be awesome.
It seems like, really this the Thunder Gods biker gang feels like it's basically done. Like he's wounded all of the members, and like one of them is running off to like tell the tale, but I don't think they're going to be coming back for revenge. I kind of feel like they've been handled, and now we're going to pivot to the Serpent. It's like, okay, that level of henchmen has been neutralized. Let's up the ante to really like the pros.
You've passed level 1, level 2. It's like we're playing like a, I don't know, I almost picture like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles video game. It's like you beat up the young street thugs, but now Shredder and the Foot Clan are on their way.
Everything just got harder, and I think they mentioned that because I think one of the guys was like, "Oh, I'm calling the guy that I should have called to begin with," kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, Eric, is there anything else about Mortal Thor number 2? Or maybe where we're heading that you want to mention here? Because we're going to throw to Faz's audio thoughts. If you have nothing to add before we wrap things up.
Any other little Easter eggs that I love?
Yeah.
So the Kristen doing the art. So she painted a mural size picture that's going to be used as album art for a Norwegian black metal band.
Yeah.
So she's essentially creating this look for Thor, because there's nothing in mythology that said he has blue tights and a red cape. So, but that's clearly in the picture. So she's essentially creating that image. And I feel even more reassured that this kind of a thing, his reputation is going to precede him. It's going to get associated with that look, and that's going to marry these two pieces together, that like the urban legend of this guy that kicks ass and is a protector starts to grow, and maybe even becomes an international thing, because if there's this band and then there's these drawings of him, I think it's super exciting. So we'll see.
Well, I notice in the back of her, just on that her artwork note, Eric, like in the background of her apartment, we see Thor and Jormungand. Like, it's another, just like, by the way, serpents are kind of a thing in this storyline. I also like the line where she's getting him like the first aid kit and things like that. She's kind of like just bumbling around her apartment because, this hunky, bodybuilder guy is like, oh gosh, I can't be bothered with shirts right now because I'm bleeding, from my abs. And she's like, oh my God, it's happening. Yeah. It's happening. And she says at the end of their interaction, she's like, but just so you know, Sigurd, like, we're neighbors. So if you need anything, and it's in bold font. It's like, damn girl, you thirsty as fuck.
And then I'd also like his broken English. I'm just trying to imagine like a Norwegian accent in my head. Yeah. And then that also makes it even more apparent that these Hydra Nazi biker gang guys are like, yeah, we're going to get rid of this guy with the girl haircut, and he's hiding, cowering like a girl, plus he's foreign, and it's just like, okay, like all the things you don't like, apparently.
This foreign girl, man. We're going to go kick his ass. It's like, au contraire.
Au contraire.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's quickly just we'll share Faz's thoughts here, and then we'll come back to wrap up after he is done regaling us with his impressions of Mortal Thor issue 2. Hi Hi everyone, Ryan cutting in here, where we were going to put Faz's review of Mortal Thor number 2, but because of some dastardly scald magic that has been messing with the Wi-Fi connection here on Midgard, we did not receive the review, so we kind of had to make up what we think Faz would say about this issue based off of, years now of him reviewing Thor comics. He would probably start off by saying, "Hello, bonjour. This is the Mortal Faz, formerly the Immortal Faz, and this was the greatest issue of Mortal Thor yet. Yes, I know there's only been 2 issues, but this was by far the best one. Maybe it was the ultimate Thor comic that we've read so far in this run." And his complaint about this issue, the one ding that he would put on this issue, is that it wasn't sexy enough, it wasn't sensual enough, there wasn't enough skin showing, it wasn't, as he's said many times, especially about Walt Simonson, it wasn't horny enough. That would be his critique, but he would say that he's so excited for the next issue of Mortal Thor. Eric and I put our minds together, and we just thought, what would a Faz review sound like if we had to be Faz? If we asked Chat ATB to come up with Faz's review of this comic, that's what it would probably sound like. We require more horniness from our issues. That's what we want. Okay, everybody, there you go. That's Faz's thoughts on.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe he would say that on the air.
He had time to edit himself, and he still said it. Wow, just incredible stuff.
Provocative.
We're gonna, next time he's on one of these reviews with us, Eric, we're gonna have to make him answer for that. Everybody, we hope you had a fun time listening to our review of Mortal Thor numero dos, where we got to see Sigurd crack some skulls, and Donald Blake is back, and he is the head of the Serpent. The neighbor, whew, man, she is HOTOGO. She is hot to go. So we are going to wrap up here. If you want to check out more of what we've got, we have links in the episode description for Patreon, for Instagram, for Discord. And if you wouldn't mind feeling generous tonight, and you just or in the morning, afternoon, whenever you're listening, if you want to leave us a rating and a review, if you leave a review, the man that just left his thoughts, his audio thoughts for us on Mortal Thor number 2, he will read that review, and he is itching to break out that Doctor Doom impression. So do Faz a favor. This isn't about me. This isn't about Across the Bifrost. This isn't about Eric. This isn't about any of us. It's about getting Faz to be Doctor Doom on an episode. So please do yourself a favor and leave us a review. That would be fantastic. Eric, any last thoughts before we hop aboard the Rainbow Bridge and we get our asses out of here?
Oh my gosh! Don't cross Sigurd when you see him coming with his red bandana and his hammer on a bungee cord. Man, that's trouble.
Everybody, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, whether you are just looking to have a big old fight at the Rough House, whether there's some kind of tension between you and a neighbor, whether you've made a phone call and you're calling the guy you should have called the first time, just don't forget to do one thing, and that is to stay worthy.
Whosoever holds this hammer, if he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor.
Bum, bum, bum.